This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Some Canadians left stranded by the violence in Mexico are now making their way home. Commercial flights started to resume today. Ottawa is now aware of 55,000 Canadians in Mexico, twice the number flagged just yesterday. Meanwhile, on the ground in Mexico, a huge military presence is in place at the site of the military operation where drug kingpin El Mencho was killed on Sunday. Mexico's government has deployed 2,000 soldiers in that area, considered the stronghold of El Mencho's cartel. As part of the beefed-up security, a military ship has arrived off the coast of Puerto Vallarta. After El Mencho was killed, members of his gang launched a wave of violence. While the government and military are trying to project a sense of calm and control, there is still concern over further violence, given the history of the ruthless drug cartels in that country. Now, as flights in and out of Puerto Vallarta have started moving, travelers are still advised to be cautious. Winnipeg flights to and from Puerto Vallarta got off the ground today, but for many, it could still be days before they're able to find a seat on one. The CBC's Gavin Axelrod joins us live from the airport. So, Gavin, this uncertainty is leaving some people anxious, but what have people that are heading to Mexico been saying to you?
Yes, Brittany, we came to the airport earlier this morning, and as we were sort of walking around trying to figure out which of the folks here were going to Mexico, we actually talked to other travelers, and they said Mexico is not somewhere where they'd want to go right now, even though things are starting to calm there. But for some of the people who were on that first flight out of here to Puerto Vallarta this morning, they were really, really excited, and lots of people telling us that some of their travel plans had been delayed, other people just excited to get out of Winnipeg and enjoy some sun and enjoy the beach. But for those people who are still in Mexico right now, there's a lot of uncertainty and anxiousness about when they'll get to come home. Jada King was excited to check into her flight to Puerto Vallarta Tuesday morning.
Yay!
She was supposed to meet her parents there on Monday, but her flight was canceled following an eruption of violence in Mexico after forces there killed a cartel leader on Sunday.
My dad said that he was talking to a local and he said they just wanted to make their presence known, the cartel. And now that everything is kind of back to normal now, so I'm not as scared to go there anymore. My dad's meeting us at the airport to pick us up, so that definitely calms my nerves.
WestJet didn't answer when we asked how many people were on that flight. The aftermath from the violence means many don't know when they will get home. Dana Sargent and her daughter Hope are waiting. They were supposed to leave Sunday, but had to sleep in Puerto Vallarta's airport overnight after the unrest began.
It's very frustrating. The anxiety of not knowing when we're going home is big, but we do also recognize that the flights that were already leaving Puerto Vallarta were full.
Sargent says the airline's communication could be better.
We appreciate the situation they're in as well, but if we could know what was going on, just updates, reminders that they are working on getting us out of here, they'd have a lot less people trying to get through those phone lines.
Global Affairs Canada is still asking Canadians to be cautious in Mexico. Their travel advisory says only go to airports in Mexico if you have a flight and it's safe. Hope Sargent says the recent violence won't keep her family from visiting Mexico again.
I don't want people to be scared to come here. We will continue to travel here. We'll be back next month. It's a safe place. This is not something that happens often.
So, Gavin, we've heard from some of those travelers that left this morning. And when are we expecting that first flight from Puerto Vallarta full of Manitobans to land?
So that first flight full of Manitobans coming back from Puerto Vallarta is supposed to land here in Winnipeg a little later on tonight. There's a couple other flights from different places in Mexico that were also expected to land here. And so the flights are coming and going from this airport, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who will be relieved to be back in Winnipeg. WestJet says right now its priorities are actually to make sure that they can get the people who are affected Sunday and Monday rebooked. They've also said that they've added more flights because seats with other carriers are very limited right now or not available at all, and they're just encouraging people to check their emails and keep posted for updates. Brittany.
All right, thank you. That's CBC's Gavin Axelrod. In-person classes at another Winnipeg school are cancelled tomorrow after a threat was made. Students from Windsor Park Collegiate are told to stay home tomorrow. Louis Riel School Division informed families about the decision in a Monday evening email. The nature of the threat was not disclosed, but the superintendent says the call was made out of an abundance of caution. The closure is at least the third of its kind this month. A popular Riverside spa says it's considering changes that could expand its facility. Thermea has been around for more than a decade, but a new proposal is getting pushback from area residents who've long had concerns about park access and safety. The CBC's Rosanna Hempel reports.
In the fall, Thermea began consultations with the community here in Crescent Park about possible changes to their spa village. Some of the options include adding a boutique lodge and sidewalks, expanding parking, and upgrading some of the existing facilities.
We want to be part of the community. We want to live harmoniously with our neighbors, and we believe that these consultations will allow us to come to common ground and find solutions.
Thermea has a 25-year lease with the city and opened in 2015. General Manager Jeff Mayo says the business's success has brought both safety and traffic concerns from neighbors and operational challenges they're now hoping to address.
Ones that, had we known that would be this successful, we would have probably designed the site differently to begin with.
Some community groups and residents aren't happy about all the ideas, including Brooke Jones. He grew up golfing and running in Crescent Park and still lives nearby.
So I was quite shocked and surprised to hear about it. Disappointed. I can appreciate that a business needs to grow and expand, but in terms of myself and the committee Friends of Crescent Drive Park, we don't want to see any more expansion.
He says many people share his concerns about safety and traffic. He's also worried changes could mean a loss of green space.
I appreciate Thermea. I've been there. We all wish them well, but it's kind of, you give them an inch they built on the golf course. Now, do they want a foot, a meter?
He was among dozens who attended an online community meeting Tuesday with area councillor Sherry Rowlands.
It is really early days, and I'm not sure that what was presented in this consultation to a small group of residents is what is going to be presented to the next time in front of maybe a broader community.
Thermea says it's still in the conceptual phase of the project and will consider the feedback it's gotten before coming back to the community for more consultations, likely this spring. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, it was a scary situation for one driver this morning after a semi-truck trailer crashed over the side of an overpass. The cab of the semi-trailer was swaying off the edge of the overpass Tuesday morning after crashing through the guardrail. It happened on the perimeter highway at Fermor. Fortunately, no one was hurt. A crane was brought in to lift the truck back onto the road. Charges have been laid against a man after things got heated on a picket line in the RM of Taché. Public workers are on strike, affecting services for thousands of people. This video was taken by a picketer yesterday, shortly after the alleged incident, and shared with CBC. RCMPs say a male driving a vehicle refused to stop for striking workers and pushed someone with his vehicle. The person fell and injured themselves. RCMPs say the victim then approached the suspect, who pushed him to the ground again and then took off. Police have charged a 68-year-old with assault and assault with a weapon. Family and friends held a vigil to remember a young First Nations woman killed last weekend. Drums rang out and dozens gathered to honor Avante Hartlieb at the corner of Yonge and Sargent Monday evening. Winnipeg police say the 18-year-old was found dead on Valentine's Day after officers were called to a home in the area. People laid roses for her in the snow. And at the vigil, Hartlieb's boyfriend described her as strong, caring, and loving. A 14-year-old boy has been charged with second-degree murder and criminal negligence causing death. All right, it was a blustery evening last night. Let's check in with weather specialist Khalil Hassanelli in now with your forecast.
So we had a mixed bag of weather today, Brittany, as you mentioned. So it is going to be quite cold as we go through the rest of the day and through the overnight, just like it was this morning. Looking at the daytime highs for the province of Manitoba, we got up to -8 in Winnipeg, a little bit warmer down through Winkler at -2, but looking up towards Churchill at -21, Thompson at -18. So this is going to be the skycast for the night. So it's very, very cold, -23, feeling like -23, feeling like -33. So very, very cold through the overnight hours. Doesn't unfortunately get much better as we go through the morning, -21 with a little bit of wind. So it's going to feel much colder than that. And then heading towards tomorrow afternoon, maybe a shower or two in our forecast. And then it is going to be still with that wind chill as we go towards -19 with wind going at 20 kilometers an hour. Brittany?
Thanks, Khalil. Going digital. If you're looking to feed the meter, your loose change will soon be no good in Manitoba's second largest city. That story next. For decades, feeding parking meters in downtown Brandon meant digging for loose change. But this summer, the jingle of coins could become a thing of the past. The city is introducing a digital payment system. CBC's Chelsea Kemp spoke with Brandon businesses welcoming the modern technology.
Sorting change so customers have coins for parking is part of the lunch rush at Brandon's The Dock on Princess.
People just don't carry cash as much as they used to.
Manager Erin Wells says customers question if the antiquated coin operating meters are just downtown decorations.
I actually had someone come in this summer, who obviously wasn't from the city, asked me if they were real parking meters and if you really had to put money in them. And I said, yeah, those are real.
Feeding meters may soon be a thing of the past. The city plans on introducing digital payments this summer. Emmy Sanderson is with the Brandon Downtown Biz. She says the move will encourage more people to visit downtown businesses.
Because now with the electronic parking, it's just that much easier to come down here and say you have a hair appointment that's 3 hours long. You don't have to worry about plugging your meter, and so it's just gonna make it, it's gonna keep that traffic flows.
The city's Ryan Nichol says they're currently working on the transition. One option is to place stickers on existing meters that allow users to pay by phone. The city is also debating if coin payments should remain an option.
So it's really just trying to be a modern society and providing people modern options to doing business in Brandon, and hopefully that continues to attract more people to the area.
Back at the Dock on Princess, Wells hopes the shift means more people are filling her tables.
Gives a more modern feel to downtown, which is nice. And it's maybe skewed towards a younger generation a little bit, who would be used to paying for everything, from their phone.
City staff will soon send out a request for proposal to potential providers and have digital payments ready for the summer. But for now, Wells will keep change on hand at the restaurant just in case. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
The inquiry into Winnipeg's police headquarters is into its 10th day. A retired police inspector who served as a liaison to the construction project testified, saying he was left in the dark about cost overruns. Randy Benoit was the second police service liaison assigned to the headquarters project. He told the inquiry that when contractor Caspian Construction said it needed more money in 2013, it didn't back it up with numbers. Benoit says he spoke to Caspian owner Armic Babakanian about a stop work order that fall.
Armic made it clear to me that morning that even if we tell him to stop, which had been done on the phone the previous day, he's not stopping. He's got to get this built, and it's going his way, and there's no stopping.
The project ended up nearly $80 million over budget when it was finished. The inquiry is slated to last until June. Well, imagine the phone rings. It's your grandchild. They say something terrible has happened and they need money fast. If this happens to you, police say hang up. It's likely a scam. The CBC's Ian Fraze now on how police are getting this message out.
Hello?
Grandma, it's me. I'm in trouble. Please don't tell Mom.
Oh my gosh. Cassie?
I got arrested. I need to pay
$5,000 right now. Her granddaughter's voice, mimicked by a sophisticated scammer.
Cassie? Hi, Gramps.
This is an ad from Winnipeg police where the scammer got caught. But that's not always the case.
With the advancements in technology and AI, these fraudsters have evolved and are highly adept at what they do. They can fool the best of us.
On Tuesday, police launched a new public awareness campaign appearing on TV, radio, and online. Their aim? Empowering older adults.
When in doubt about a phone call, just hang up.
These grandparent scams have telltale signs. Often, a distressed grandchild is on the other line, pleading for money.
They're going to push you to act immediately, and they're not going to give you any time to think. They're going to beg you not to tell their parents or any other family members.
Please, Grandma.
Yes, I'll help.
Police say in this case, hanging up is appropriate.
You're not being rude, and your grandson or daughter is going to understand, and you'll have their number to call them back. And you'll find out very quickly if that was a scam or not.
Police use statistics to make their point. In 2024, these frauds swindled older Manitobans of nearly $350,000, though police say that number could actually be higher. A lot of that money gets deposited into crypto ATM, where an officer says it's virtually impossible to recover. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, well, you're going to want to make sure you have that extension cord and block heater handy tonight in the car plugged in because those temperatures starting to go down. Weather specialist Khalil Hassanelli is in now with your latest forecast.
Lots of different things that we're going to have to contend with, Brittany, over the next little while. Let's take a look at some of the headlines that are going to be, in terms of the weather, very poignant. So an unsettled Wednesday, not in the morning more so. They're looking at the afternoon time where any kind of snow could be coming down for us. And then a little bit of a warming trend comparative to what we've been feeling, getting up towards that freezing mark under some sunshine. So it's going to actually feel very, very nice. And that's going to be before the weekend, because now as we're looking towards the weekend, it could be quite cold for us. So taking a big switch. When we have these really cold temperatures, if the wind picks up at all, that really adds to the wind chill factor. And that's what's been happening over the last couple of days. And that's going to be the fact for us going forward. So 18 kilometers an hour is our wind, but gusting up to 41 in the city of Winnipeg makes it feel much colder than it actually is. And it looks pretty steady around that. It's going to get calm by tomorrow, but it is going to be starting to pick up as we go towards tomorrow night, when that possible snow could be coming down. So overall, the day might feel okay, but then when the wind does pick up, and the gusts especially, that is when it feels especially cold. 8 a.m. tomorrow, as we're walking out the door, minus 23, feeling like minus 32. So extremely cold. Bundle up and make sure everyone around you is bundled up as well. By noontime, as we're getting out for lunch, perhaps minus 16, feeling like minus 24. And then by the afternoon time, this is when the possibility of some snow could be coming. Let's say about 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. That's when they're expecting the snow to start coming down. If any is going to fall, we should be at minus 11 by that point, but that wind chill is still towards the minus 20 mark. Tonight's forecast, bundle up if you are going to be outside at all or taking your dog for, let's say, a late night walk. It is going to be minus 24 in the city of Winnipeg and very cold going up towards the northern part of the province, minus 31 in Thompson, and then also minus 32 towards Lynn Lake. So once again, tomorrow's forecast, let's compare it to the rest of Canada. Minus 14 in the city of Winnipeg, 7 degrees in Vancouver, and then as we're looking towards Calgary at 6 degrees and Toronto at the freezing mark, a little bit cooler also up towards Iqaluit at the moment as it's looking like. So we're looking through the next couple of days, minus 11 for tomorrow. And I mentioned that nice warm up. Let's look at Thursday at minus 2 and Friday at minus 3. A lot of sunshine in the forecast for us, Brittany, for us in the next little while.
All right. Thanks, Khalil. Know your zone. The city is implementing a residential parking ban. That will get underway Thursday morning at 7 a.m. and it goes until Saturday night at 7. You can head to the city's website to find out when your zone is going to be cleared. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The recent eruption of violence in Mexico has left some Canadians wondering what to do with their travel plans. The CBC's Nisha Patel explains what options might be on the table.
Flights from Canada to Mexico are getting back on track, and many travelers are eager to take off, despite days of violence that locked down Puerto Vallarta.
I think we're feeling pretty safe about it, and we'll, keep watching the situation.
But some travelers are pivoting to other countries instead.
It's not worth the risk. Don't want to get stuck there.
Even though it seems like it's clearing up, we don't know if it will stay stable.
Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister said the situation is volatile and evolving every day. And Global Affairs is advising Canadians to avoid all non-essential travel to the parts of Mexico in orange, and to exercise a high degree of caution in areas in yellow, including Cabo San Lucas, Puerto Vallarta, and Cancun. Airlines, though, are only offering flexible rebooking for the next few days.
Those folks who have March break plans coming up, that's not going to be covered, and you'd be subject to any cancellation provisions that you'd normally see.
Travelers who purchase trip insurance may have more leeway. Still, policies vary widely. And for those without insurance who want to change plans,
you're likely not going to have any recourse for getting your money back if the airlines haven't canceled the flights themselves, or if the government doesn't elevate the advisory further.
Supplies, food, water. It's a tough decision for Cindy Redmile. The single mom is supposed to be trading the winter cold for this Cancun beach next week.
I still am concerned because everything that's happened is so fresh still. So I feel like I will wait it out a couple more days.
She worries about getting trapped at the airport and delays in making it home.
I'm 50-50. I'm on the fence about canceling because I am going with my youngest daughter, and her safety is utmost importance to me.
Air Canada, WestJet, Air Transat, and Porter have all resumed scheduled flights. Air Canada and WestJet have added extra capacity to bring more people home. Flair Airlines says it will resume scheduled flights on Wednesday. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Global Affairs Canada is still advising people to exercise a high degree of caution if they are in Mexico and to avoid non-essential travel in several states, saying the security situation could deteriorate rapidly across the country. The question of ongoing safety in that country is top of mind for many travelers. Barry Prentice is a professor and director of the University of Manitoba Transport Institute and joins me now. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
So Barry, there's long been the idea of safe zones in Mexico where travelers are immune to crime. Now, we didn't see tourists targeted here, but are these so-called safe zones real?
Well, I think you always have to keep your head up. You're anywhere traveling, so you shouldn't ignore the fact that, at any time something can happen. But I would say that generally speaking, people going to the resort areas are pretty safe, and the transport to those areas is pretty safe too. So I don't think we should be overly concerned about that.
I want to make sure that we're not causing any unnecessary fear for people. We are looking at some video of buses and cars that were hit in parts of Mexico that were burned out. So really, where should people be concerned? Is your average person going to be impacted in that way? What should we be worried about?
Well, again, it's going to be depending on the place. This is a very unusual circumstance that was triggered by a police operation, and I don't think the targets are tourists. The targets obviously are the police themselves, and of course they're making barricades to make their point. I would be very nervous about renting a car and just driving off into the country. I think that could be dangerous. Maybe even on a bus might be dangerous. But if you're just going straight from an airport to a resort, I wouldn't have a big concern at this point.
We saw airlines cancel flights. Many of those have now resumed, particularly to Puerto Vallarta. But could this have a broader impact where we see routes and schedules by airlines start to be reassessed?
I don't think if nothing more happens, no. But if we see another incident or two instances, I think then, yes, we could see some big changes because people can be pretty nervous, and we have lots of choices. We can go other places. We don't have to go to Mexico, although it's very desirable to be there. It also depends on how long in advance you've booked your reservations and whether you can get out of those.
I want to talk a little bit about insurance, because I know when people book trips, sometimes they avoid that extra added cost. Would this have helped people in a case like this if they had insurance? And could we see insurance change in the near future?
It's a good question. I'm one of those who also doesn't bother getting the insurance, and maybe I wouldn't advise that for everybody. Again, it really depends on how nervous you are, but I think it also depends, as I mentioned, what happens in the next few days or weeks. If we start seeing more violence occurring, then yes, I would advise everybody to try and get their insurance for that trip. As for the rates, it depends on the insurance companies. I don't think they're necessarily going to put the rates up just because there have been a few instances. But again, this is an unknown.
Could we start to see operators really changing their policies in the near future?
Oh, possibly. It isn't something that we necessarily anticipate, because they're locked in. Again, the schedule for the airline is set, the crews are set, the resources are committed. It's pretty hard to change at this stage. Again, it depends on what happens in the future, and that might even influence where people go. Other places like Costa Rica and Dominican Republic, even Peru, have become much more interesting for tourists. So again, we have lots of choices as Canadians where we want to go.
I know, Barry, this isn't the first time that we've seen cartel action spill over in parts of Mexico. Should people be concerned long term, or is this really something that we need to watch and see how this plays out over the coming days and weeks?
Well, the problem with these gangs is more widespread than just tourism. And, we've seen instances where they're hijacking trucks and in some cases even murdering a truck driver, even attacking trains. So these gangs are pretty widespread and ruthless. So I certainly would avoid any place that where they're in a major area. Michoacan is one of those states which I would personally not go to. So yes, there are places in Mexico you want to avoid, but I wouldn't necessarily be too worried about a vacation spot. Is that, the government of Mexico really depends on tourism. It's a big industry. And I think that they'll be beefing up security a lot in these areas because, again, they don't want a bad reputation. And people should be aware of that.
All right, Barry, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Ukrainians are marking the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion of their country. As commemorative events took place across Ukraine, European leaders vowed not to abandon the war-torn country. CBC's Margaret Evans has more.
4 years in and counting. Prayers for Ukraine's war dead and those still fighting in the trenches. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, flanked by European Union leaders, making what's become an annual pilgrimage of support. It is an unspeakably painful day for Ukrainians. Time standing still for the dead, but not those left behind to mourn and to carry on the fight in their name. Somehow it feels like this war has been going on forever, says 19-year-old Valeria Pivin, whose father was killed. The boys did not die for nothing, says her mother, Irena. I strongly believe that they were on their way to victory. Volodymyr Zelensky says it will come if there's sustained support from Ukraine's allies, a point he repeated to the European Parliament over a €90 billion loan being blocked by Hungary.
This is a real financial guarantee of our security and our resilience, and it must be implemented.
It's a reminder of the careful path Zelensky is treading, not just within the European Union, but with an often unpredictable leader in the White House. In Kyiv, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen offered EU assurances.
This word cannot be broken, so we will deliver on the loan, one way or the other.
The question, of course, is when, and will it come in time to make a difference? In Moscow, Russian President Vladimir Putin accused Ukraine and its Western allies of what he called mass terror by shelling cities and sabotaging infrastructure because they haven't succeeded on the battlefield. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
International aid groups are asking Israel's highest court to let them keep working in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. They're asking for an interim order to stop a ban that's supposed to kick in March 1st.
Any attack on INGOs needs to be understood as an attempt to knock out the foundational structure of the humanitarian response in Gaza. It is actually an extremely strategic way to undermine the UN-led humanitarian response and create a narrative that justifies the involvement of other non-humanitarian actors.
Israel says it will ban 37 aid organizations if they don't follow new rules to register their employees with the government and share sensitive information. They have refused to do so, calling the rules arbitrary and invasive. The groups say banning them would cause immediate and irreversible human consequences. The deaths of 72 tigers in less than 2 weeks at a wildlife sanctuary in Thailand has prompted an investigation. Officials have ruled out a possible bird flu outbreak. This had been the initial speculation because the animals were fed raw chicken. Instead, the latest lab results point to canine distemper virus and bacterial complications. Tiger Kingdom is a popular tourist attraction which held more than 200 tigers. The carcasses are being destroyed to prevent any disease outbreak. Coming up, Olympians are starting to return home from Italy. Winnipeg Jets Connor Hellebuck brought that medal win to the U.S., but how do Winnipeggers feel about the golden goalie? That's next. Stay with us. It may have been his best game ever. Goalie Connor Hellebuyck helped lead the men's Team USA to gold at the Winter Olympics, beating out Canada in a heartbreaking overtime game. Many onlookers say it's because of our Vezina Trophy winner goalie. But now the Olympics are over, how do Winnipeggers feel about our beloved goalie?
Completely shocking, to say the least. I just couldn't even wrap my head around it. How do you get Connor Hellebuyck and the Jets being this pretty good but not great guy to being this all-star goalie?
How do I explain it? He doesn't perform so good. Like, I find like he lets in a lot of silly goals in Jets games, but now suddenly he's outperforming Canada in the Olympics.
It was outstanding. I mean, it was hard to root against him, but at the same time, like, in the back of your mind, you don't want USA to win, but you gotta root for Hellebuyck still, even though.
It was tragically amazing. It hurt me a lot. It hurt me a lot, man. I mean, sometimes people have standout games, sometimes people don't, and it just happened to be that night.
It was anyone's game. It was an exciting game, and you know what? He did a great performance for Team USA, and frankly, as a Canadian, I think they deserve the win.
Ooh. I mean, he is an American citizen, so I do get him. But at the same time, bring that energy to the Jets game. And he deserves it, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, a lot of those guys on the team you don't really like, especially those Kachuk boys. But Hellebuyck, it's like, man, he's like heart and soul of Winnipeg Jets, right? So I'm so happy for him. Like, this just cements his legacy. He'll go to the Hall of Fame, and who knows if he'll ever win a cup, but Olympic gold's pretty close. So
to kind of be back in Canadian soil and just feel the excitement, even just throughout the airport here as we've arrived, it's pretty thrilling.
We felt so much support from Canada, from our families, from fans across the country, and that was amazing.
And there's the ladies. Meantime, Canada's Olympic team have begun returning home from Milano Cortina. These athletes received a hero's welcome at Toronto Pearson International Airport last night.
Out of my house, because I said the weather's nice, it's Canadian Day, to come and represent everybody across Canada.
Support for the team. They've worked so hard to get where they're at, and it makes the whole country proud.
A couple of dozen fans turned out to greet the team and show their national pride. Canada won 21 medals in total, including 5 gold. It is the lowest medal haul since the Salt Lake City Games in 2002. A group of hunters and wildlife experts are banding together to voice their opposition to proposed hunting seasons for 2 migratory birds. Environment and Climate Change Canada recently suggested hunting seasons for tundra swans and mourning doves across the prairies. It's part of a proposed amendment to migratory bird regulations. If passed, a tundra swan hunting season could begin in Manitoba as soon as 2028, with 400 permits issued to hunters in the province each year. But there are concerns. Trumpeter swans might be accidentally targeted, which are sensitive species that are not allowed to be hunted.
I'm not arguing with the numbers and what Environment Canada said. I'm just questioning, the ability of anyone, hunters or non-hunters, to rapidly make a decision that might result in mistaken identity.
The province says proposals are in the early stages and no decisions have been made. All right, well, what do the next few days have in store for us weather-wise? Weather specialist Khalil Hassanelli is in now with your forecast.
Getting very cold overnight for us, Brittany, and it's going to be quite cold as we go through the next little while, especially through tomorrow. Going to get a little bit warmer by the afternoon, but there could be some unsettled weather for us as we go through the rest of tomorrow. So it's going to be minus 21 as we get started in our day. Light winds, only about 10 kilometers an hour, but that's still going to feel a lot colder than it actually is. And then by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, let's say around 3, 4 o'clock, there could be some snow that comes down for us. us, and that's going to make it feel a lot colder than it is. Minus 19 with the wind chill, with the wind going at 20 kilometers an hour. Looking at the radar for what's ahead of us, so looking at a pretty quiet start to the morning. We might see some sunshine breaks for us as we're heading out the door, and then as we go through the rest of the day, there could be some clouding over, and we see around 8 o'clock there is going to be a system over top of us, and that's supposed to start once again around 3 or 4 o'clock and go in spurts as we go through the rest of the night. You see all that purple popping up around the city of Winnipeg through the overnight on Wednesday into Thursday morning, and that's going to be playing a part of our drive as we go through the rest of Thursday and as we're heading home after that. Looking at accumulation totals, shouldn't be anything too much as we're going through the day tomorrow. If we're going towards the later part of Wednesday into Thursday, that's when more accumulation can come in. So 9 o'clock on Wednesday evening, about 2 centimeters in total. And then looking through the overnight on Thursday and fully into Friday, it's only going to be about 5 centimeters in total once again. Audrey, looks like they might like some of that snow. It doesn't look like they're affected by the cold weather at all. Thank you to Anne and Jackie for sending this picture in. Looks like that sweater is doing them well for Audrey and getting them out and enjoying the weather. Might not want to take them out for a walk early in the morning tomorrow to minus 22 at 8 o'clock, minus 19 by 10. And then as we're getting later on in the day, minus 15 and then up towards minus 11. That's when that snow once again should be starting up. And we're looking at the next couple of days after that. We do have minus 2 come Thursday. So let's get through Wednesday, Brittany. Then it's going to be nice as we go towards the end of the work week. Minus 3 on Friday is going to be that temperature. And then the weekend might be nice in terms of the sunshine we're expecting, but very, very cold blast of winter coming at us once again.
Thanks, Khalil. Well, they say once you learn to ride a bike, you never forget. And now one Winnipeg high school is teaching kids how to keep those wheels turning. The Bike Den is an 8-week hands-on maintenance and repair program for grade 9 students at General Wolfe School. This piece comes from Sisler High School's CREATE program.
Kids working on bikes gets messy. It's a problem. They work hard. It's not a linear thing, but they work through it and they solve it. My name is Sean Reimer. I've taught at General Wolfe for about 12 years now. Mostly math and science is what I've taught. And now in the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to start up this program that we've called the Bike Den.
What you're going to do this.
And then when I first started teaching, I started as a substitute teacher in the Winnipeg School Division. This was quite a few years ago now, and I remember substituting at a Hugh John MacDonald school, and they have a really great bike program there. And when I was in that building, I had a chance to kind of poke my head in the door of that room and see the things that happen there. And I was really impressed and thought it looked really cool.
So here's some of my old pedals.
I love my job working with kids and teaching math and teaching science, but to have the opportunity to do something a little bit more hands-on with smaller groups was really appealing to me. And then, of course, I've always kind of enjoyed working on bikes and cycling myself. So to combine something that was a hobby outside of school with teaching here at General Wolfe was a no-brainer. At General Wolfe, the Bike Den is a program for grade 9 students where they are given a bike that we have at the school. The bikes are donated by an organization called The Wrench. The Wrench is a non-profit community bike shop, and they have a massive amount of bikes there, which they get out to people in Winnipeg who might not have opportunity to get a bike. Students learn repair and maintenance skills. They basically strip the bike down and rebuild it. And at the conclusion, then they get to keep the bike. They get a lock, they get a helmet. They learn some safe riding skills as well.
My name is Colin Porter. I decided to join Bike Den and this year because I've been wanting to have a bike to get around and stuff. The buses are complicated, so for me it's easier to just bike back and forth, and I didn't have a bike for the longest time. And then when I saw the opportunity in Bike Den, I decided to take it, and Mr. Reimer accepted me.
On a typical day when we have our Bike Den program, students will come in, they'll get the bike repair stands, and they'll put their bike on there. There's such a value in the students kind of struggling with something, keep keep working at it and figure out the problem and solve it for themselves. A challenge would be that I am not able to get the number of students through the program that want to be part of it. With the number of bikes we have and with the space we have, also finding the space to do it has been a little bit of a challenge as well. If you've seen the shots of the bike den room, it's quite full. So then we are moving supplies from there to the library or to a different classroom to set up.
I think it's quick release. I think you'll be okay with it.
If I had to describe the bike den in one word, it would probably be authentic. Smaller groups of students working on hands-on things within a school. It's such a valuable thing to have in a school, so students can have those opportunities to experience what school is like in different ways that are outside of the traditional classroom, which can sometimes have a lot of kids in them.
Still ahead, bundle of joy. Toronto Zoo welcomes a new little one. That's coming up in our Daily Lift. In the U.S., it could be days before things are fully back to normal after the strongest storm in a decade. Cleanup is well underway in New York, the biggest city buried. New York City, along with Boston and Philadelphia, declared a snow emergency and banned travel. In Rhode Island, the storm broke records with nearly a meter of snow blanketing the streets. Atlantic Canada is also dealing with the aftermath of a brutal dose of winter. In eastern Newfoundland, more than 150 centimeters of snow has fallen in the past week. All schools in the St. John's metro region will remain closed today to allow for snow cleanup. City officials had not declared an emergency, but did ask people to stay off the roads.
Thanks, Brittany. The next week might be a little bit like a yo-yo, up and down in terms of the temperature and what it's going to do for us in the city of Winnipeg. So it's going to be cold, then it's going to be a little bit milder, and then cold again. So let's take a look at the weather forecast over the next 5 days. It's going to be minus 11 tomorrow. Maybe some sunshine to start off the day, a little bit more chance for snow coming down towards the afternoon time. Minus 11 is the high. Wind chill is still going to be about minus 19. And then the temperature is actually going to be rising through the overnight hours. Minus 2 come Thursday. Beautiful sunshine. Let's enjoy that. Minus 3 on Friday. Maybe a little bit more cloud cover, but we will still see the sunshine. And then a lot of sunshine come the weekend. But looking at minus 17, minus 12 for Sunday. So very, very cold. But coming back up, that yo-yo that we talked about off the top towards Monday, minus 5. So a little bit of that yo-yo up and down, enjoying all types of winter weather.
All right, thanks, Khalil. Okay, and finally, you bet giraffe, this next story is cute. Monday, we brought you Punch the Monkey in our daily lift, and tonight, we bring you another baby, this one, albeit a bit bigger. After a 15-month pregnancy, Mama Giraffe Mastari welcomed a baby calf on Sunday. The Toronto Zoo saying they're already head over hooves for this little one. And by little, we mean 6'4" standing up, which only took her about 35 minutes to do. Both mom and baby have been doing well and were left to bond over the weekend. No word yet on a name for the little gal. Adorable. We love baby animals here. Hope you have a wonderful night. Stay warm, stay safe. We'll see you back here tomorrow.